It's Thursday, y'all. I'm looking forward to a very carefree episode of iCarly. What's that? What, Freddie's ex-wife is in the episode? Oh. What's going on, you guys? James here with another real review and recap of this week's episode of iCarly. Yes, this is the revival series on Paramount Plus, which is streaming right now, guys, and it has been a treat every single week. If you missed my review from last week, it's right at the top of the screen, guys, and you know by now, if you've been watching these reviews, I am a big fan of the revival series. I feel like every single episode has been great so far, and I won't lie to you guys, it's well deserved of a season 2 renewal. I cannot wait for that second season. In case you forgot, the series is directed by Phill and stars Miranda Cosgrove as Carly, Trainor as Spencer, Nathan Kress as Freddie, Laci Mosley as Harper, and Jaidyn Triplett as Millicent. And this week we're going to get right into episode 8, which is titled I Love Gwen. And yes, Gwen is Freddie's ex-wife. So there's a lot to dive into here, guys. Some that I loved and some other things that I didn't like too much. But before we get started, if it is your first time here at the channel, welcome to Real James, where I review movies and TV like this all the time, so you're not going to want to miss out. Go ahead and hit the big red button below, subscribe to the channel, and tap on that bell, you guys, so you'll be the first one in the comments, and hit that thumbs up button if you've been a big fan of iCarly like I am, and get loud down below and let me know what you thought of episode 8. Was it one of your favorite episodes, or did it fall in the middle for you? I'll tell you where it lies with me, but let's get into the episode now and talk a little bit about the story and what I liked and what I didn't like. And right off the bat, I really enjoyed the VR headset cold open where our main cast are playing a game and it seems like they're breaking a lot of stuff. But what caught me off guard and made me cackle out loud was Laci Mosley's line delivery here. Again, she plays Harper, where she makes a joke about Kanye West and him being irrelevant. I was on the floor. Honestly, it was so funny. But then we get right into the story and the core of this episode, which is Freddie having to face the fact that his ex-wife Gwen, who's played by Carmela Zumbado, is coming to stay with him and Millicent. Now, originally Gwen was supposed to stay on her own with Millicent, but things happened, and of course Freddie offered his apartment, his space, for them to stay for the week. And I can't lie to you guys, I really like the fact that Nathan Kress was given a lot of shine this episode. This seemed to be more of a Freddie episode than the ones before it. And it was really funny to see Carly and Gwen interact, because at first I thought they were sworn enemies, but then you transition to the next scene where you get Carly and Gwen basically pretending they're good friends, and they probably became good friends when Freddie and her were dating. So it was just so interesting to see this dynamic between the group, because we haven't really had an outsider come into the Carly space, you know what I mean? And it's nice to see another face added to this bunch. And of course, every good iCarly episode has a subplot, and that was between Millicent, Spencer, and Harper. Millicent is participating in a school play. It's Romeo and Juliet, I believe, and she needs a set designer and she needs a costume designer. So who does she lean on? Well, Spencer for the set design, which he builds out of toast, and it was absolutely hilarious. And then you have Harper, who was supposed to design the costumes, but there's a catch. The best production out of both of them, whomever creates the best, I guess, set or the best costume, gets a prize. And well, Millicent lies about that prize, but we don't know that at the time. So again, we get a Spencer and Harper showdown. It seems like both of them have some great chemistry together. I love Trainor and Laci Mosley on screen. They're so funny, but most of all, we get them showing down in pretty much every episode. They're just very competitive. But after all of those funny moments at the beginning of the episode, I noticed that yes, the jokes do last here and they're pretty good, but I would say this is one of the more grounded episodes of the season. And it gets even more layered when you figure out that Freddie misses Gwen. Millicent overhears, enlists in the help of Carly Shay, and they try to get both Freddie and Gwen back together. Well, let's just say that dinner sequence was both awkward and also bittersweet, because you can tell that both of them still have some feelings for one another, but Gwen has moved on because she reveals that she's dating somebody named Ernie. At least I think it was Ernie. It was a very generic name, but I still enjoyed getting these moments between them both because we learn more about Freddie's past, and that was one of the things I was calling for in the first 2 episodes, actually. I wanted to know more about Freddie's past, and we do get more of that here, so I'm happy. I'm actually really happy that they dove into that. And guys, it seems like almost every week we're getting a cameo from the original series, and this week it's Mrs. Benson's turn. Oh boy, let me tell you, those moments were hilarious, but also very, very awkward. Mrs. Benson Carly and Millicent building a puzzle together did not land on my bingo card in 2021, but it was pretty good. It was a nice moment, and honestly, it was nice to have that bit of comic relief because I was starting to ache for Freddie and Gwen here. It seemed like both of them trying to resolve everything during the middle of this episode was definitely emotional to a degree. And when it comes to drama, they did save the best for last. Literally, they saved the drama at the end. The play, Romeo and Juliet, remember that subplot? No, it was still so fun to see Millicent on full display. Okay, Jaidyn Triplett lately has been getting a lot more exposure in this show, and I'm kind of glad because she is really good at what she does in this show, and I loved her in this play. And there's also her classmate, I just don't know her name, but she has been popping up every now and then in this series, and honestly, everything about the play was fun. From the set design and the costumes, I would say both were pretty good. So if you ask me, it's a tie between Spencer and Harper. But this is exactly the moment where Millicent is supposed to tell her parents that the play is dedicated to them and basically acknowledge the fact that they still love each other, or do they? So Carly, of course, has to go and tell Millicent, hey girl, the plan is off. I actually really like that scene because Miranda Cosgrove gets out of her element a little bit and she is just taking control of the scene. And her back and forth with Millicent was... it was so good, man. And then I love Spencer coming in and out, putting peanut butter on the pieces of toast to keep everything constructed. It was just so funny. I think all the elements came together there. And that leads me to my next point, guys. I do think that this episode is an all-around good episode. There's not one standout here. And I do think that they give a bit more exposure to Freddie. But for the most part, every character got a moment here that was worthy of a laugh. The only thing is, you guys, episode 8 doesn't do anything very well. It's good, it's just not one of the better episodes of this season. I think when season 1 is all said and done, this won't be that one episode that sticks out and is at the front of mind, and that's the only issue I have with it, is that the episode, while it is enjoyable, it's just not as memorable. Although if we didn't get this episode, of course we would not get Freddie and moments with him and Gwen. So I will say that this episode overall was good, it's just again not great. But I need to know exactly what you guys thought of episode 8, I Love Gwen. I really hope we do see more of Gwen because Carmela Zumbato is awesome. I thought she did a very good job in this role and she seems so comfortable and she fit in very nicely with this cast, so I hope to see her again. But again, guys, get loud down below in the comments and let me know what you thought of the episode, and if you haven't already, hit the big red button below and subscribe to the channel and tap on that bell because we got more iCarly left. There are only 13 episodes this season, so we're getting into that last chunk of season 1 up until, of course, season 2 whenever that debuts, most likely next year. Alrighty, y'all, again, thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you at the next screening.